Me, 31F, with my fiancé, 32M, get along great, but he talks to his mom every day, if not more. Now to be clear, I love that my fiancé has a good relationship with his mother. I had an idea, because of that he would treat me well, and he always has. But is there a line to cross of too much communication? She knows everything I do every day because she asks him and he tells her. I don't even talk to my own parents that much. I don't know if I'm overreacting, but for whatever reason it's a turn off to me. I get that they have a good relationship, but at what point do you draw some sort of line? Too long didn't read. Fiancé is a mama's boy. Edit, it more so bothers me he shares info about me, even if it's just what I did that day. It prevent me and his mom from having an authentic relationship because when I do see her, I have nothing to talk about that she doesn't already know. Edit 2, I have a close relationship with my parents, but they have always valued privacy and independence, so I grew up with those things. It's just a different shift to see diff parenting styles. Tread carefully here. It's likely if he ever were to pick between his mom and anyone, he'd pick her. It's fair to try and bring up the discussion of boundaries and such. I would be off-put if I felt like my life was being narrated daily, but obviously their connection is strong, so any threat detected will probably be met with pushback. I'd pick one thing you want to change and gently start there. Is there a time of day they talk that really annoys you? Like right early in the morning as you're trying to start your day together? Tell him you really love your mornings together, and if he could postpone phone calls till later you'd appreciate it. Try and stay positive and phrase things in a "I want more of you" instead of a "I want less of her" way. Also, compromise and try not to create hard lines because this will be a new learning curve for him. He's probably been like this with his mom for his entire life. Also, maybe look inward. Does this bring up feelings of you wanting to be closer with your family? I'm not as close with mine as I would like to be, and often with partners who are close to theirs, I find myself feeling a little jealous. This is tricky territory. I hope some of this way helpful. There will always be upsides and downsides. Good luck op. Edit spelling. And yes, it more so bothers me he shares info about me, even if it's just what I did that day. It prevent me and his mom from having an authentic relationship because when I do see her, I have nothing to talk about that she doesn't already know. Have you said this to him verbatim? I think this is a perfectly reasonable justification for wanting him to share a little less. Presumably he also wants you to have a good relationship with his mom, and if he talks to her every day, I doubt he's trying to intentionally get her this info before you can. He's just telling her because there's not that much else new to talk about and because she's interested in you, which is a good thing. As long as he's not sharing anything inappropriate, I think all you have to discuss is that you'd prefer to be the one to share details of your day or whatever else you want coming from you so that you and your milk can bond. Edit, people are so quick to say don't marry him in this subreddit. Sheesh. I don't see anyone telling you not to marry him. Most people are just suggesting that you communicate about this with him. Is the problem that he talks to his mother or that he tells his mother everything about you? My husband speaks to his mom every day, if not more. I think it boils down to why they are talking and how does it make you feel. My husband talks to his mom about everything but personal stuff about us, unless he's asked me. His mom is lonely, his dad has dementia, and often she calls him for a break, or to have some normalcy or to vent. I used to get annoyed, but we set clear boundaries and now it doesn't bother me. You just need to do the same. If it bothers you, he should be receptive of this and boundaries set. If you don't want his mom knowing everything about you, ask him not to share. His reaction to your ask should help. If he's pissy, then you may need to rethink things. Or my husband, he accepted my boundaries and have never purposefully crossed them. I don't see anything wrong or weird about it. She's not using him as a crutch, they just have a shared experience, his dad's decline, they are going through. Have you asked him not to share so much info about you? I suspect it's not necessarily that he talks to her every day, but more so that he's sharing your business with her. Maybe you can set some boundaries about what info is shared and how much. I personally wouldn't mind the frequency of communication as I'm close to my parents too, but more so what's being discussed about me personally. Husband never comes to bed. tells me I'm controlling. I'm trying to do this without any context cause I need to know if I'm wrong or not. Can't ask friends cause biased. Sorry for how I type. Also phone. So just about every night I, 30F, go to bed by myself. This is not a new issue, just one I always get told I'm unreasonable about. My husband 31 meters, stays up anywhere from an hour to 3 or more to stay downstairs and do whatever. Poop, jerk off, game, be on his phone, what have you. We have 2 children, almost 3 and 10 months. Whom is still in our room cause we don't have a room for her yet. He says he spends all day with me and them and needs alone time. New Year's Eve was my breaking point, again, cause I tried to stay up, in and out of sleep in the couch till about 11:45. I woke up to him going upstairs and I asked why, and he didn't know I was staying up for the ball and thought I was just staying down here to just be a jerk cause I never stay up and never said about watching the ball drop. So I got mad/upset and went upstairs by myself and just watched the ball drop on my phone. I've had an attitude since because when I try to talk to him about it, he just tells me that I can't control him and tell him what to do, and asking him to go to bed with me, even just once or twice a night, when I do is unreasonable. I have tried to explain that it doesn't feel good to go to bed alone every night and it's upsetting, but that doesn't matter. So, am I being controlling and should I just let it go? Before it comes up, no, I do not believe he is cheating on me. Of all the things, it's the one thing I don't believe he would do or be doing. TL, Dr. Husband never comes to bed at same time as me, when confronted, tells me I'm trying to control him. I think it depends how you're bringing it up, honestly. Maybe you're being super understanding and just asking for him to join you sometimes and he's overreacting. I wonder, though, if you are being pushy about this in a way that's veering into controlling behavior. You may know this, but I'm going to say it, just because you would prefer to go to bed with your husband, doesn't mean that he owes that to you. His desire for alone time is as valid as your desire to go to sleep at the same time. If you stay in this marriage, you need to be okay with the fact that he may never want to go to sleep at the same time as you. Can you be okay with that? It's okay if you're not. If you're just occasionally asking for a compromise and he's blowing up at you, that's a separate problem. If that's the case, does he react like that around any other subjects? Do you often feel like you're the unreasonable one in the relationship? My ex-husband made me go to bed with him at the same time, around 10 or 10:30, every night, and that was one of many things that made me resent him. I didn't leave the marriage based on just that, but it was a hallmark of a pattern of controlling behavior on his part. He also didn't want me to see any friends or have any sort of life outside of him. With that in mind, are there other ways in which your husband feels controlled? I literally could have written this. It was so annoying and frustrating because he got up much earlier, so I'd be twiddling my thumbs for hours till I fell asleep. On ops side, most narcissistic people wouldn't ask an opinion on if they were wrong. Is it the only thing he brings up when he tells you you're controlling? No, it's pretty much any time I say anything that sounds like a command or suggestion or anything that would imply him telling him what to do. I won't lie, sometimes I get excitable and loud and it can come off that way. This is not one of those times. I'm not telling him he has to come to bed with me, I'm asking for 1 or 2 nights a week. 3-year-old and a 10-month-old, and you'll all share the same bedroom. I would be taking a couple hours a day to myself also. I don't think it's controlling or unreasonable to want your significant other to go to bed with you occasionally. But, he's also not wrong to want alone time. You both need to compromise. If you want him to spend time with you at night, let him have free time during the day. If this is about quality time, that's a different issue that needs to be communicated. And I get that. Like, fully. Small children are nightmares. But I have tried to compromise and ask for only 1 or 2 nights a week, but that doesn't matter to him. Asking for even 1 night is controlling of me. And I try to leave him be when the children nap after he gets home from work. It depends on the kids ultimately, but on weekends he gets time to himself for an hour or so if the naps sync up. Seeking advice on how to break up with someone who has nowhere else to live. Seeking advice for breaking up with someone who has nowhere else to live. mid-20s. Relationship 3+ years, living together for almost 2 years. Things are quite hellish and I, 26M, know the relationship is going nowhere. My girlfriend, 24F, has estranged herself from her family. She has 1 to 2 friends who are also very mentally ill and basically homeless. She makes $150 per week working part-time. She can't regulate her emotions or physical reactions. I can't keep cooking, cleaning and calming her. I have no idea how to go about ending this where she has nowhere else to live, nor any savings. She has a good therapist but an awful psychiatrist. No diagnoses other than anxiety depression. Recently lost access to cannabis, and now takes Xanax. 25 milligrams, every day. Suicidal ideation, constant rumination, overly dramatic responses to mundane annoyances like literally spilled milk. I feel like I've accidentally found myself parenting a child, which is a horribly unhealthy dynamic. She hasn't done anything mean or nasty to me, and I think our relationship would flourish if she gained any self-confidence or ability to take care of herself. But after a year of this, I know I can't be the one to teach her how to be an adult. Too long didn't read. A long-term relationship has gotten very unhealthy. Girlfriend cannot care for herself and I cannot be her caretaker. She has nowhere else to live. How do I go about breaking things off? Thanks. If it was me, honestly, I'd find a new place to live that's available now/very soon, and give both her and your landlord your 30 days notice that you were moving out. That way you have the option to stick around the full month and help her move on or not, depending on her cogency about moving on. If it's a month of trying to guilt you into staying, then spend most of your time at the new place and don't really look back. If it's a month of her actively looking for jobs and a place to stay, then maybe hang out and be a supportive friend and help her deal with the immediate logistical fallout to help her be in a better place to deal with the emotional fallout of the relationship ending. It really sucks that she is in this position, and you can empathize with that while still looking out for your best interests and removing yourself from a situation you can't afford to be in anymore. You'd be surprised how resourceful people can become when they no longer have the option of remaining complacent/comfortable and relying on their partner for basic necessities. It's really hard to untangle yourself from someone when you care about them so much, but at the end of the day, she's an adult and her housing isn't your responsibility. You can care about her and help her find somewhere else to stay, give her advance notice that she will need to leave, etc. But you're not obligated to continue being her caretaker and letting her live with you. No matter how kindly you do it, you will probably feel like a mean jerk, but that's just because you love her, not because you're doing anything wrong. She has to get well on her own. Her best bet would be some assistance from the government, whether disability or a female halfway house or something. I would call someone who would know more about those options in your community. Other option: find a dirt cheap place on Craigslist for her where roommates are subleasing a room, and pay the first month's rent. Whatever option you deem best, don't present this as a choice. Hey, I'm sorry X, our relationship has run its course and I have to prioritize myself now. Here's a solution for you: I will help you get settled. Then go no contact.